All right, good afternoon, traders. Today is the last day of the month. Big time window dressing coming in. Lots and lots and lots of new all-time highs in the indexes and some of the sectors. Big day today. Hey, today's the 30th. It's the last day of the month. My name is John Carignan. I am the lead instructor here at the day trading service at BYOB Trading.com. All right. Okay, let's go take a look at some. Let's just see how I made 330K today. All right. So you can see I'll pull it up on the 3-minute chart. I'm going to slide this over. I'll let you know all the blue ones are the buys and all the red ones are the sells. All right, so I was buying the dips and selling the peaks. That's all I was doing. The market was bullish, all right? And that's what gave me the courage to do it. Is you can see price action moves up and just goes over to the right, holding the higher ground over the prior high up here. See that? Then on top of that, they tried to fill gap right here and failed. That's a bullish clue right there. Whenever you see bears try to fill the gap and fail to fill the gap, that's showing me bulls are in charge. I'm looking for that 3-minute uptrend or that 10-minute uptrend taking me back to VWAP and beyond. All right? Big time clue right there. Moving up, holding the higher ground. Okay? It gives me the courage to go big size when I see that. Okay? That's big size. Okay? Not just 1 or 2 contracts, like a couple thousand. All right? Up and over to the right, holding the higher ground. All-time highs, holding those all-time highs up there. Well, there was no trend. There was no trend here. We did get a 3-minute trend coming back up through VWAP right there. It was flat all day. You can see all they did was move to the right. All right? All they did. There was little 3-minute trends flip-flopping back and forth like a caught fish. All right? Going back and forth across VWAP. All right? It was chop until they tried to fill the gap and they failed twice. Notice they failed here and here. There's your clue. We're going to get bullish, and we did right there, right into the close. So there's SPY. So there's my trading for that was for the that was for the 618 calls. Now I saw a path. All right, to get to 618 about noon. I thought we had a path to get to 618. I actually thought we had a path to get to 621 at the beginning of the day. You'll see I traded some of those right here. These are I think those are the 621s. You can see I thought we had a path to get to 621s. And then when too much of the day expired, I flipped to the 218s, as you can see, and started trading those. I thought we had a path to 618, and hey, we nailed it, all right, on those 618 calls, 0 DTE. These are the 621 calls, 0 DTE. These are the, let's take a look. Those are the 625 calls, 0 DTE. These are the 3 days till expiration, 625 calls. And I had a lot of those. I bought the dip. All right. Every time price got lower, I bought the dip. And every time price rallied up, I took some off. All right. You can see I'm still holding about 300 calls that expire this Thursday. Had some 1 DTE, 625 calls. All right, those expired tomorrow at 4:15. All right, traded those. Again, I'm buying the dip. All right, I see the strength. I see the rally. I see price not giving up the higher ground. That gave me the courage to buy the dips and sell the rallies. As you can see, I did there. Bought some 11 DTE 625 calls. Highly interested in reloading those if I could get a better price than what I sold them for. I sold them for $250 up here. We're currently at $251. Okay, looking to pick them up for about $2 to $1.75. Those are the 11 DTE 625 calls. Not sure if it's going to get back that low. I may be stuck with buying them for what I sold them for. Okay, so those are the 625s. And that right there is how I made 330K. I had price action was showing me a bullish signal, a bullish clue, moving over to the right, not filling the gap, not giving up the higher ground. That gave me the courage to go big size. Again, I'm just following my map. Here's my map. We have consolidation that formed over consolidation. You can see we're nowhere near 605 anymore. Let's fill in the map here and we'll take a peek at what's going on. You can see where price has moved up and ripped almost up to 620. Okay, we're looking for 620 way up here. Okay, way up there. Okay, almost there. I think we got to 619 and some change into the close. All right, so I said 620 is going to be my first target, and I still think we get to 650. All right, I think there's still a whole lot of good news in the pipeline. All right, when I'm talking about good news, like maybe some negotiated trade deals, maybe a big beautiful bill, maybe some rate cuts. Employment's looking fantastic. I got to tell you, I see a lot of good news in the pipeline, and I think there's a possibility we get up to 650, 655. All right, and I want to show you the SPY. All right, we'll take a look at the SPY real quick here. And what happens a lot of times on the south side, all right, happens on the north side. So we'll take a look at it on the daily chart here. So you can see Wall Street bought the dip. All right, this is one unit, this first rectangular box. Okay, Wall Street bought the dip, and I think that they're just like you and me. They want 2 reward for 1 risk. Well, just being conservative, all right, and I'm being really conservative. I'm not even including all of that tail down there. I'm just going to stack 1 reward on top of the 1 risk unit. Okay, this is their risk because they bought the dip. Okay, so 1 reward unit takes us up to 655, and that's conservative. All right, notice I didn't even include all of the consolidation up here or part of the tail down here. So what happens on the south side oftentimes happens on the north side. All right, if you've studied price action for a while, you'll see that happen often. All right, so I'm looking for price to get up to 650. All right, and that's being conservative. All right, 2 rewards for 1 risk, which is usually what Wall Street likes. Okay, and again, conservative would take us up to 737. Okay, now there's lots of good news that could come out in the pipeline. All right, I'm talking about big beautiful bill, lower taxes, trade negotiations, peace in Europe. Maybe if Ukraine and Russians could stop killing each other, that would be a beautiful thing. You know, we could start shipping stuff and trading. That would open up new markets. Lots and lots of things in the pipeline that could really get us up there to 650. Rate cut would get us up to 650. All this beautiful data that we're getting, all right, could get us up to 650. Employment's looking fantastic. I truly believe that we could get to 650. I actually think we could get even higher than that, all right? So market is bullish, all right? If you didn't know it, it's really bullish, all right? New all-time highs, that says it all, right? Higher low, higher high, closing over the bullish trap. That's bullish. Over the 17, the rising 17 EMA. That's bullish. All right. Making a brand new all-time high. It just doesn't get any better than that. Okay. Market's firing on all cylinders. What if AI could find a way to reduce the power consumption that it takes to do an inquiry? All right, that would be huge for the market if we could find ways to cut AI's power cost. All right, in order for each inquiry, cut that by 90%, 80%. That would be huge as well. Okay, lots and lots of really good news in the pipeline that could manifest. All right, and I really believe in it. Keep an eye on NVIDIA. That is the big AI chip. As long as that keeps moving up or holding the higher ground, I still see more bullish upside as long as NVIDIA just keeps going, because they're the number one graphics chip maker, I think, in the world. I think they're the biggest. I don't know if they're the best, but I know they're in high demand for those chipsets, especially for AI, because I know they were using them a lot in Bitcoin as well. All right, for mining. So you can see that's where I made my money today. All right, we're bullish, and this gives me the courage to get in big size. All right, not to mention I've got a much bigger account than what I started with. I think I started with 27. Yeah, I started with 27K. It's up to $1 million now. It's less than 30 days. I started that account back on, I think it's 6/2. Yeah, 6/2. I started that account. So inside of 1 month, popped that thing up to $1 million. All right. So, well, $1 million right up there. So that's nice. Maybe a little less than $1 million, because I think there's about 200K that doesn't belong there. So about 890, maybe 900 right there. So that's nice. All right, so I'm going to start a new one after the open house coming up in July. All right, so first Monday in July, I'm going to have an open house. After that, I'm going to start a new account. Going to be a new 27K account. And I had some requests to do a 5K account as well. So I'll do both of them. All right, I'm going to do a new 27K and a new 5K account. All right, right after open house on the 7th. All right, and we'll trade that. Anyways, there's SPY. Okay, 10-minute chart. All right, 10-minute into the close. 10-minute uptrend going into the close. Look at that. Little 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. Again, that's what we like to trade. 10-minute uptrend, peeling away from VWAP. Look at the pullback. This is, for me, that's buyable. All right, I like that. That's, I like that. All right, 10-minute uptrend coming into the close. 2-hour uptrend into the close. This is yesterday's close. This is today's close. 2-hour uptrend into the close. Look at that price holding that higher ground up there. Look at that 2-hour chart. Move up, over to the right, move up, over to the right. Okay? Holding the higher ground is bullish. And I showed you the daily chart, new all-time high. It just doesn't get any better than that. All right? QQQ. Thank you. QQQ. Again, new all-time high. All right? It doesn't get any better than that. All right? We're still bullish. All right? Listen, we're bullish until we're not. All right? As long as we're up over this 17, we're bullish. Okay, as long as we're up over the 17, we're bullish. We could get pullbacks to minor support up here, okay? All right? But we're still bullish. What we'd like to see is price go up, pull back to minor support, J hook off of there and make a higher high. So there's QQQ, daily chart. Let's take a look at QQQ. Again, new all-time high. Again, it doesn't get any better than this. FNGU. All right, new all-time high. New all-time high right there. Okay, doesn't get any better than that. It doesn't get any more bullish than that. All right, that's beautiful up there. FNGU. Diamond Dow. All right, so Diamond Dow, we'll take a look at that over here. Up in quadrant 4, that's bullish. New rally high. Okay, here's the rally. Starts from down here. New rally high up in quadrant 4, that's bullish. Notice again, over the trap, over the 17, that's bullish. Over all-time high anchored VWAP, also bullish. Look at price structure, move up, all right, and hold the higher ground. Up and over to the right. Okay, they're not going up and giving it up. All right, they're going up and holding the higher ground. That's bullish. Okay, that's what we want to see again. Move up and hold the higher ground. Hopefully move up over this double top and then hold the higher ground on top of that. That would be beautiful. There's Diamond Dow. Getting it done, doing it nicely. Quadrant 4, that's bullish. Again, up over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Let's take a look at IWM. All right, IWM put in a new rally high on Friday. Today, not so much. All right, but look at the candle action. Inside day, lower high, higher low. Closing over a bullish trap. That is bullish. All right, closing over the 17. That's bullish. And over the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's bullish. All right. And you look, you got consolidation over prior consolidation. That's bullish environment right there. Okay, moving up, holding the higher ground. Okay, it's always bullish environment. Moving up and holding the higher ground. That's bullish. Okay, it's bullish till it's not. Okay, under the 17, and things start looking. They look off. They look different. They're not like they're supposed to look, all right? So as long as we're staying up over that 17, all right, it's looking good. We're still bullish. There's IWM. Let's take a look at technicals, T21.22. Okay, you can see we spent the day in the buyer's chop zone, and we fought our way back out of it into the buy zone. Don't like the lower low. All right, but I do like the higher low here from this point. Don't like the lower low from this point. Don't like the lower high from this point either. But we're in the buy zone. That's still a magnificent place to be. Well done for T21.22. All right, so getting it done there. All right, let's take a look at T21.23. I went over this a little bit earlier. I'm going to review it with you guys. And let me just slide this over. And this one too. We want to move it. All right. T21.23. 15-minute chart. Okay. Notice no new rally high today. Okay. Remember, no new rally high. They got close. See how close they got? Right up there. They got close. But look at this. Bullish gap up. Never got filled by the bears. Look at price action. Move up. Hold the higher ground all day long. That takes a tremendous amount of energy. That's like holding a plank. All right? Any of you guys that exercise, you know what a plank is? That's like holding a plank all day long. Okay? That's not easy. Okay? That's what they did. They held a plank almost all day long up there. All right, over, see the gap fill? Bears never got the gap fill. There's a clue right there. That's bullish. All right. When you see them hold the plank up over the gap fill that long, okay, that's hard to do. All right. Hold the plank all day long like that. All right. So moving up, holding the higher ground. That's bullish. Up over the 200 SMA. That's bullish. Look at this. Green from the beginning of the day to the end of the day, all right, with one gin and tonic lunch right there. Okay, so T2123, nice day. 3-bar chart, T2123. 3 more green candle bars. Look at the space opening up now between the 17 and the price action candles. Love that. We're up over that prior all-time high, and now we've got not just one candle up there, we've got 5 3-bar candles up there. I like that. They're holding the higher ground over this 200 SMA. Like to see that. Consolidate up there, then maybe make a move for this high over here. All right, T21 3-bar. That's bullish. It's making higher lows and higher highs. That's an uptrend. That's bullish. Okay, same with the 15-minute. All right, it's making higher low. There's a low. All right, well, here's a low. There's a higher low. There's a higher high. That's bullish up there. T21 23. Okay, it's looking fantastic. See this low? See, notice how here's the other low that goes below the 17 right there. Higher low, right? Okay, not quite got the higher high yet over here. After this higher low, I think it's coming soon. All right, T21 23. FNGU, look at this, bullish from the beginning of the day to the end of the day. Again, one gin and tonic lunch right there, and they bought the dip right there, closing up over VWAP. All right, price action. Look, green, beginning of the day to the end of the day. Look, open gap. Okay, bears could not fill the gap. They didn't have far to go either. And look, they couldn't fill the gap. That's your bullish clue right there. Okay, that's bullish. Moving up, holding the higher ground, failed to fill the gap. We're bullish. I'll be bullish tomorrow. All right, same thing. I don't see anything that says triple top, double top, time to give up, bears have control. I don't see it. I just don't see it. It may happen tomorrow morning, but I don't see it today, and I didn't see it this evening coming into the close. All right, that's with FNGU and T2123 and the rest of the indexes, the Fab 5. All right, let's take a look at a few of the sectors. All right, start off with XLE. The XLE, notice XLE goes up and gives it up. Okay, that's just neutral. Okay, they're up over downtrend line 1, but under downtrend line 2. That's just neutral. Okay, you go up, you give it up. Can't hold the higher ground, all right? So they're just neutral. Not in the lower third, not in the upper third. Just neutral right here, okay? They're still in an uptrend because they're making higher lows. See, there's a low. They made a higher low. And they're making higher highs. See, there's a high. They made a higher high. Same thing here. Higher low, higher high. They're still in an uptrend, but they keep giving it up. Notice they go up and they give it up. We need them to go up there and hold the higher ground. Okay? They're not getting that done, so they're just neutral. All right? Okay? Underneath this all-time high anchored VWAP. That's the pink line right there. Okay? So XLE just neutral. Let's take a look at USO. All right, again, USO, look at it, go up and give it up. Okay, need them to hold the higher ground. Okay, so that's just neutral. Price action, neutral. Okay, this is the 3-year high anchored VWAP. Okay, they're on the bullish side of that all-time high anchored VWAP. That's nice. Okay, but again, you go up and you give it up. I do like the consolidation beginning here over prior consolidation. That could be a sign of bullishness to come. If they could hold this for a while, okay, that's a long consolidation there. Like to see it hold for a couple months right there, and then maybe work its way back up into the upper third. Okay, so just neutral, USO right here. Okay, let's take a look at UN, and still in an uptrend. All right, just failing to hold the higher ground. Let's take a look at UNG. All right, UNG in a downtrend. Now, how did they get themselves into a downtrend? They made a low, and look, they made a lower low. All right, so that made them into a downtrend right there. Okay, so price action, look at, is moving down and over to the right like a hockey stick, like the dead cat bounce. All right, so notice that's bearish. Okay, and in the lower third, that's bearish. And in a downtrend, that's bearish. And underneath the uptrend line, also bearish. Okay, you see what's going on? It's bearish right here. And showing what? Head and shoulders pattern. Head, right shoulder, left shoulder. Okay, UNG bearish and in a downtrend. Okay, not ready yet. This is not ready to own to go long on it. Okay, it's just not ready yet. Okay, so there's UNG. Let's take a look at precious metals, GLD. GLD got a little pop in the afternoon today. I don't know what it was about. I think it was the falling dollar. Yeah, right through there. Anyways, GLD, look at it on the daily chart. Higher low, higher high. They're in a downtrend because they got a low here and they made a lower low. So they're in a downtrend. They closed inside a bearish trap. That's bearish. They made a higher high and a higher low, but they're closed underneath the 17. That's bearish. They're knocking on the door of the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's bullish. All right. And being up here in the upper third, that's bullish. Currently showing an inverted head and shoulders. That being the head, this being the left shoulder, and all of this being the right shoulder. If price comes down here and decapitates the head, all right, then they're probably coming down to check the uptrend line back here. All right, so maybe a pullback to 270. All right, right now, they keep kind of fading lower and lower. Let's take a look at silver. So GLD's in a downtrend, but still bullish up here in quadrant 4. SLV. All right, try it one more time. SLV up in quadrant 4, that's bullish. Moves up, holds the higher ground. Lovely. Okay? Looking like, I'm going to give it to them. Well, let's just see. The low is 32.55. The low is 32.53. So higher low. The high is 32.90. The high is 32.90. So equal high, higher low on SLV. Okay, so closing under a bearish trap, that's bearish. Closing over the 17, that's bullish. Holding the higher ground is bullish. Closing up over this, it's a 12-year high anchored VWAP. Okay, that's a 12-year high right there. So price action up there, quadrant 4, that's bullish. Look at price move up, hold the higher ground up here. That's bullish. They're in an uptrend. Excuse me. Higher lows and higher highs. Okay, so that's an uptrend. So there's SLV on the daily chart. That's bullish. All right, SLV bullish up there and in an uptrend. Let's take a look at SMH. Okay, look at SMH attacking the all-time highs right here. That's bullish. Okay, new rally high for SMH. XLK. New all-time high for XLK. Doesn't get any better than that. All right, just doesn't get any better. Look at new all-time highs. XLF. New rally high for XLF. I told you, keep an eye on these financials this morning. All right, here we are with higher lows and higher highs. We are attacking the all-time high up here. New rally high for the financials. Let me just say this, okay? If the market's going to be doing good, all right, and investment banking is about the markets, okay? These two, when you see the index is doing phenomenal along with the sectors, investment banking is going to do fantastic as well. Okay, they each feed off each other. So Whenever you see the market hitting new all-time highs, rest assured, the financials should not be far behind, all right? Because they are mainly investment banking, all right? So XLF, new rally high and attacking the all-time high and over the all-time high anchored VWAP and holding up in quadrant 4. Look at this 2-month hold up here, okay? That's a bullish hold right there, okay? And you can, and just to let you know, I think earnings season cranks up around the corner here, so, okay? Financials usually started off, and here we go with the financials again, already starting to rip into earnings season. This is bullish, okay? So you got semiconductors are bullish, you got big cap stocks are bullish in the FNGU, the mega caps, okay? You got XLK making new all-time highs, that's bullish. All right, you've seen T2123 making new rally highs. All right, there's nothing out there that's saying bearish. All right, as long as we don't get any new wars that break out, okay, and the markets stay open, I don't see anything bearish on the horizon. Employment is looking fantastic. All right, all I see is a lot of good news in the pipeline. All right, to get us to 650 on the SPY. All right, let's take a look at IYT, and then we're going to wrap this up. Okay, IYT, is that a new rally high for the IYT? Okay, up in the upper third, that's bullish. All right, transports are bullish in the upper third. You know what that means? Products are getting sold off the shelf. Products are getting moved into the warehouses, from the warehouses out to the retail stores to restock those shelves, all right? Big time machinery is getting moved around the country along with the appropriate personnel to put it together, okay? Big structures like, I think Amazon's always building a new warehouse somewhere, okay? New manufacturing plant or production facility or packaging facility. Okay, you got SpaceX breaking ground over in Texas. Lots of big infrastructure. We need those roads and bridges, okay? You got to keep those roads and bridges open. We got to keep them maintained, all right? Hopefully we can get something in the big beautiful bill to get those roads and bridges in the right state of repair, all right? So that we can keep things moving along, okay? So there's IYT, that's bullish. So you've got technologies bullish, you've got financials are bullish, and then you've got the big one, all right, which is the transports. That's showing you stuff's being moved around the country, all right? That's wonderful right there. All right, that's it for me today. That's it. I'll see you guys all tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the morning. Let's do it again. How is the best way for us to tell what you're trading? Your screen 2 bottom, we can't see the entire screen. I keep my positions right here. These is always my positions. Right here. That's always my open positions. I know you can't see the bottom of this because I have so many orders open, and this is what's being traded currently. I guess I could open up another screen and just put nothing but executed orders on it. I'll trying to get that accomplished for the beginning of July before this opens up. So all we have on it would be just executed orders and unexecuted orders side by side. That's what I'll do. All right. If that would help out, I'd love to do that. Okay. Thanks, Robert. Cool if you could let us see and know when it's okay to buy the dip. We're bullish. All right. I am buying the dip. As long as we're going to stay bullish, all right? As long as we're going to stay bullish, I'm going to buy the dip. I am not a financial advisor, Joan, so I can't exactly tell you when to buy, but you can see from looking at my positions what I'm buying. All right, if that helps out a little bit. I just can't tell anybody what to buy and what not to buy, and what to do and when to sell and why to sell or this. All right, all I can do is explain my actions and what I see. All right, so I can't tell you when to buy the dip, but I tell you what I see is bullish, and you can see me doing accumulation of position size. When you see that, you know that I'm under the belief that things are bullish. Okay, all right. Does that help out a little bit? I just can't tell you what to buy and sell. I don't have that ability. I'm not. Yeah. Okay. Well, but I share my screen too. You can see my screen too up here. Okay. And you can always see screen 2 right here. That's where my positions are all the time. Okay, screen 2. These are this right here. This is my P&L right here, where you can see where I got for profit and loss on the various positions right here. These are the executed orders up top. And these are the unfilled orders over here to the right. All right. All right. Okay. All right. Well, I look forward to that. Thanks, Joan. All right, everybody. Everybody have a fantastic evening. I'll see you all tomorrow, 8 o'clock in the morning. Thanks, Gene. Thanks, everybody. Congrats to all those that made profit today. Well done. I know it was a long day. That was a long hold. All right, like I said, it was like holding a plank for all day long. All right, on the SPY. All right, for all of you that exercise, you know what a plank is. All right, see how price just moved to the right all day long. We never got a 10-minute uptrend until the very end, after they failed to make a lower low right here, and then we finally got the 10-minute uptrend right there. Okay, well, you can see it's like holding a plank all day long, waiting, and if you had patience, all right, it finally manifests itself right there. Okay, all right, everybody. Tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Let's do it again. Let's make some more. All right, John. Could I go back to my order tracking screen for a few seconds? Right here. See, now this, did you see it earlier? It was up around 11,000 and they pulled back. This was up around 11,000 in profits right here. Earlier, just about 40 minutes ago. And then you can see this is what happened. We lost $1.50 on the price action right there. Oh, you took a snapshot. You can go to screen 2 and this chip, and just in case you didn't know, you can go and click screen 2 and just take a snapshot like that. See here, screen 1, screen 2. And just take your snippet, okay, and then just do like that. Right there. That's one way. Or you can do the camera right here. All right, guys and gals, thank you. All right, we'll see you tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Everybody have a fantastic evening. Oh, you're welcome, Rod. Awesome. All right, tomorrow. 8 o'clock in the morning. Everybody take care.